citizens can participate in democracy? How can they improve and establish the values of democracy? Here in Kyrgyzstan, a lot of people think, we're going to elect our politicians, and they're going to give us democracy. They're going to make it happen, which is not true. They will never able to make it happen, bring about democracy without the participation of their people, of the citizens. So, as I said, the main authority comes from the people. They have to be really active. If let's say we're the Kyrgyz citizens. If we want democracy, we have to participate in establishing democracy, establishing the values. So it's like talking about democracy is not enough. You have to do something about it. You have to try to help to build it. So my next question is, how you can do it? How you can participate in democracy?
There's a lot of ways.
Huh? Okay, name two. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk about democracy. We talk about it, the politicians talk about it, everyone. I mean, since we gained independency, we've been talking about democracy a lot. And if you go somewhere, if you want to talk to somebody about democracy, they'll go, it's not real, it's not for us. But we can make it happen. Not them, not the politicians who are sitting higher up, but we can make it happen. Because we're the source of the power. So how you can participate in democracy? First of all, it's knowing what's in the Constitution. Well, first of all, it's knowing what the Constitution is. What is it about? The second of all, what's in the Constitution? Your rights, your obligations. In Kyrgyzstan, we have this strange perception of our Constitution. Say, when a lot of people when they talk about their rights, they start talking about about the rights they have, but they, barely talk about the rights other people have and the obligations they have. Because as a citizen, you have your rights, and you have to know about them, and you also have to know about your obligations as a citizen. And in developed countries, their constitution is sort of a holy book for them. For religious people, for Muslim and Christians, the Bible and Quran are the holy books. For a citizen, constitution should be the holy book. They have to know everything in it. They have to know how to use it, and they have to know how to teach it. Because you're going to be teaching your kids, your sisters, your little brothers and stuff.
We still can compare with America, but we need to make our own democracy, which will not hurt any kind of both sides of the culture and the democracy. Well, that's the point of it, because
that's the thing about democracy. There is no different kinds of democracy. They're just one, and it's about respecting the rights of other people.
It is.
And one of the major parts of democracy is respecting the rights of other people. It's one of the rights, freedom of speech. It's in the Constitution. It's all about democracy. Is all about this freedom of speech. A lot of people, I notice, if you're active on social networks like Facebook, maybe Odnoklassniki and some other stuff, they have they write about. They have I have a web page where you can write what I think. And something is if my friends read it, they can post it on their page so that their friends can read it. So a lot of people are doing that. If there's a problem in the community, say, here's an example. The city government, they wanted to shut down an orphanage. So a lot of people, young people, they started discussing it on Facebook. And they started discussing it. A lot of people were not happy about it, so they decided to, you know, from discussion take it somewhere else. And so they you know, gathered in groups. They went to the city government. They talked to the mayor, and they talked to the what do you call it? The deputate. And yeah, and then like they were also involved in this problem. And the daughter of Chingiz Aytmatov, she actually went to the prime minister. She's also active on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. She also writes articles. So she went to the prime minister. She talked about it, and the prime minister ordered not to, you know, close that orphanage. So that's the participation. That's the citizen participation. And that's how you can solve problems. So if no one said anything about the situation, that the orphanage would be closed by now. So that's one of the ways you can be involved. You can participate and make this community better. Yeah, I also wanted to talk about patriotism, because they are somehow, I mean, in many ways they are related. Who's in this room is a patriot of his country?
Sure.
Good, because I thought you would all raise hands. That's what happens. You know, I've been talking to many people since I'm interested in this topic. I've been asking a lot of people about, you know, of course, democracy and patriotism. What they think about it, like what's their perception of it. In a lot of like time they say, like, I'm a patriot, but they have no idea what patriotism is, and what do you have, like, who do you have to be one. So, okay, let's discuss what patriotism and who do you have to be, like, what kind of characteristics you have to be a patriot. As I said, a lot of people who call themselves patriots, but they can go around the corner and just like throw trash on the ground, like on the street. And how can you be a patriot and do stuff like that to your like country? Like the image of a real patriot is not like, when we talk about, especially in Kyrgyzstan, when we talk about patriotism, when we mention it, a lot of people think about protecting something that we value. If someone, like a foreigner, again, if a foreigner by mistake offends or insults a culture, they're gonna try to, like, you know, fight him instead of just, you know, asking him to spend some time with them so that they can explain that, you know, some of the stuff may be perceived as an insult. The situation in Osh, what happened?
I don't think that was Islamic country.
They were protecting, like a lot of people talked about how Uzbek people didn't want to learn Kyrgyz and didn't want to, you know, accept our like culture and our language.
Wow. And
they, instead of like, you know, working through the conflict, working, you know, towards the solution, like non-violent solution, they chose the other way.
yes, just because they chose other way. I mean, see it in Kazakhstan how it works. Everybody's like learning Kazakh language and everything is going on through the Kazakh language. So the Kyrgyz people, the government see that like how it works, like everybody's speaking Kazakh in Kazakhstan. So let's do that. It's like every Uzbek or Uyghurs, make them speak just Kyrgyz, but they don't want to, and they go like this fierce, you know.
It's their right. See, I said that they are related, so they are related. It's in the constitution. It's in the constitution of Kyrgyz Republic that every person has a right to speak whatever language he likes to speak, and that's their right. And it's the constitution is all about protecting the rights. I mean, also the majority, but also protecting the rights of minorities. And in this case, the Uzbek people and other, like Russians and others, are the minorities, and their rights have to be taken into consideration.
Do you remember last week we spoke about like the kind of leadership
that influences people, and you come in and you convince them that they want this, and so they do something because they are convinced they want it, rather than coming in with a hand that's like heavy and saying you have to do this. Maybe in Kazakhstan they've come in and they've convinced them and said, look at all these benefits of learning the Kazakh language. You'll have all this literature to read, you'll have this many educational benefits by learning Kazakh, and so people learn it. In Kyrgyzstan, what has been, if it is language based, the violence, it's like saying, take our language, rather than using language to be convincing and making them want to be a part of it.
It's again goes back to patriotism. How other nationalities can learn our language if most of us don't want to speak it? Like in business, science, medicine, what else? Politics. We use what language? Russian. Because, I mean, we could use Kyrgyz, but in medicine, business, it would be really, really hard. We cannot do that. Because our language is not developed that well. And we have to work towards it. And that's the only way we can, we can, like, enrich it. And only then we can offer others to learn it, to speak it. I mean, like, there's no bad thing about being bilingual or trilingual. We can speak, like, English, Russian, Kyrgyz, and it's not going to hurt us. It's going to make us more, like, culturally rich. And you cannot just go outside and, like, make someone speak Kyrgyz. You have to get them interested in it. And if you want to learn, you have to invest your time without asking money, if you're a true patriot, to teach them Kyrgyz. And you can do that. As we talked about democracy, you're the source of power. If you're gonna get people involved, non-violent way, if you're gonna get people involved in this, we can establish a group who's gonna work with the government to make that happen. In the States, they have how do you call them? Interest groups. Yeah, interest groups. So it's possible. You can do it. Then you can post a form on Diesel or Facebook or anything that you can use, and gather those people, and be a group, because one person maybe can change little things, but a big group of people can change a lot. I saw an article. I've read about it. I saw an article about the Ministry of Education rejecting a project by a UN to have Wi-Fi spots in universities. And how it all started. He denied. Well, he rejected the project. He said no. We're not going to do it because students will be on the internet. They're not going to be studying. But a lot of NGOs, a lot of human rights activists, a lot of education program advocates, they got on the internet, they started discussing. Out of the discussion came, like, something bigger came out. And after they, talked to media, like after they made it public, he denied his statement. He said that he didn't say anything about the project, like anything about rejecting the project. So that's how he can participate and change things.
Yes.
In a lot of situations we say we have this problem and no one really can solve that problem. It's not true. I've been reading like messages, comments of my friends and of their friends about the problems in the community, and most of the time they get like solved because they took like active part in it. So maybe you can change that situation. Maybe you can go back tomorrow to your university and gather a group. Here's the situation. Like in like our university, the mathematics department was really corrupt. They would make students pay money. You're like familiar with the situation. They decided to do the same thing with our group, with my classmates, and like a lot of my classmates, they gave them money because they didn't want to have
any problems.
Yeah, problems with. But I thought it was not fair, so I got in touch with the police department that deals with with corruption and stuff. So I was supposed to give them, what was it? It was 1,600, I think, for like me and for my friends. So I decided to turn him in. So they came in, they marked all the money, and they caught him. Well, they didn't really catch him. He was able to like throw the money in the trash can. So basically, they didn't like catch him. But after that incident, he got fired, and he got fired. But after like a month, we found out that he's
come back.
Yeah, he didn't come back. He got a job in another university. And after that situation, I got some bad comments from my classmates because they didn't get their money back or neither like their grades. And I also got a lot of pressure from his colleagues. So it was hard.
Yes.
It was worth it.
Did you find that the police were cooperative? Like they didn't give you a hard time, or just like, well, who cares? Or they were?
They were. In fact, they were really like cooperative. I thought when I like started thinking about talking to them, I thought they would say, it's a common thing. You're not gonna change anything. But they didn't say that. They were really cooperative. They like spent their time. They came. They caught them, and so that was worth it. Maybe you should try to do the same thing. You guys remember the proverb? Whatever, like, what was it? What doesn't kill me makes me only stronger. That's one of the reasons why I love working with young people, because they have more ambitions, they have more courage. And with those two things, you can do a lot. Georgia, it's a like current example. We don't have to go that far. Georgia was one of the post-Soviet countries, and they were in the same situation as we were, even like worse, because they had all these mafias and how do you call them? But the president was he was young. I mean, when he got elected the first time, he was younger than most of the post-Soviet countries, post-Soviet country presidents. So he was young. He surrounded himself with young people. He's like one of our young activists. He's a Kyrgyz guy. He went to Georgia to learn about the reforma. It's the same.
Reform.
So they went to Georgia to learn about it and learn about how they changed everything. So he came back and he wrote an article about it. So he surrounded himself with young people. I mean, his advisors, his assistants, they were not older than 30 years old. And they had this big reform in their police system. I don't know what's it called. And the person who changed everything who changed from militia to police and changed everything, how they worked. I was 32 years old. I don't know, and I was 32 years old lady. I mean, she's young. She didn't work in the правоохранительные органы. How do you say? Like force protection department, something like that. So she never spent any time in that department prior to becoming the minister. But she changed a lot because she was young, she was ambitious, she had goals, and she was supported by other young people. When we say leader, we imagine this one person who's going to lead everyone and change everything. Yeah, that way would be a lot better and easier. But if there's no one leader, there can be many leaders of many little groups that can come together and change a lot of stuff. So you have to try to be a leader of a small group. Leaders don't make followers. Leaders make leaders. If you're a leader, you have to, invest your time bringing up other leaders.
Yeah, we can't be overcome by evil, but we have to be overcomers. So if we just sit back and say, there's a scary world out there, I'm going to protect myself from that, and we stay in our little box our whole lives, we'll be probably safe in our little box, but we'll be in the box. But if we go offensively against evil, we're going to get knocked up on the way. We're going to, get hurt. We're going to have to suffer for it. It's not going to be nice all the way. But we're going to be outside of the little box that they put us in, and more free for ourselves to do what we were created to do, reach our dreams, and for our children, for generations to come. I think probably what you guys do in your generation as young people to make changes, you won't see the benefits of that. You'll feel probably most of your life like, I did all this work for what? But your children will see the benefits of that. They probably won't ever say thank you to you because they won't realize you put all the work into it. But you've made it better, for generations to come.
It's true.
Yeah. Well, in our country, I believe that in our country it's easy to change everything, to become a prosperous country. Because it only took 6 years to change everything in Georgia. And they became an example for others, like countries like us, only in 6 years. It took him only 6 years. And 6 years is not a lot. Say, I'm 23 now. In 6 years, I'm 29. I'm still young, and I can live in a prosperous and well-developed country. But in order to have that, we have to try. I always compare democracy with chess. You guys know chess, right? So someone brought chess, the board with the figures from somewhere, and they said, "This is chess. Go ahead and play it." But no one really explained us how to play it, let alone, in chess you can, there are ways you can win the game faster. They didn't teach us neither the tricks, neither the rules of the game. So we came up with our own game. We still use the chessboard, we still use the little figures, but it's not chess. It's our game that we came up with. So we have to learn the rules, we have to learn the tricks to win it faster. So please, spend a little time, read the Constitution, learn about democracy, and pass on the message to others, to your younger sisters, to your brothers, to your classmates. Then maybe through that chain we can, be a community, become a community, a society that knows more about their rights and aware of the situation.
Doesn't kill you, makes you stronger.